question 23. So, step 1, we need to spot the topic. Now, it's not Pythagoras. Remember, Pythagoras is where you have a couple of sides and you're finding the third side. Here, we're trying to find an angle. So, this is trigonometry. So, for a trigonometry question, you start off by your ratios. So, you need to have a way of learning your sin, cos, and tan ratios. The way I teach it is silly old Hitler caused awful havoc to our armies. You may have learnt it as just Sokotoa, however, but you must be able to regurgitate those three ratios. So that's a side, write that on the side. So this is the process. Picture yourself at the angle and label up the three sides. So this side is my opposite to the angle. This side here is adjacent, that means next to the angle. And H, that's the hypotenuse. Well, that's not relevant to where you're actually seated, where the angle is. The hypotenuse is always the long slanty one opposite the right angle. So O, A and H. Next thing you do, you take into account which two of these you know. Well, we know the 8.2, that's the adjacent, and we know the 10.6, the hypotenuse. So we know the A and the H. So which of these ratios do we use? Well, it's the cosine one. A and the H. So cosine. Now it's always the angle comes next. Cosine x equals our adjacent side, which is 8.2, divided by our hypotenuse 10.6. So how do we make x the subject? How do we undo this cosine? We have to do the opposite, which is inverse cosine, cos to the minus 1 to both sides. So that undoes the cosine. So x equals inverse cosine 8.2 over 10.6. Pop this into your calculator, you get 39.323 dot dot dot. So to three significant figures, that's three digits, 1, 2, 3, 39.3. We don't round up because that is not 5 or above.